Tiger Muay Thai in Thailand, here with Gerard Smith, who's currently filming and travelling a documentary on the late Evan Tanner, who died at the age of 37 in September 2008 in the Californian desert of heat exposure. Gerard, how are you doing?
Pretty good, thank you.
Excellent, I'm fine, thanks. I've actually had a look at the website for Once I Was a Champion. Tell me what your thoughts and what your previous background was on to why you wanted to do this documentary.
Alright, sum up real quick. I train MMA, I've trained for brown belt and judo, trained for years. Big fan of Evans as a fighter. I didn't know that he was an alcoholic or he had problems or whatever, but I just heard that he had a blog, and at the time I was kind of looking into get insight into just training and stuff, so I looked him up and started reading his blog and found out that a lot of it was nothing to do about fighting, it was about the problems that he was having. I come from a family that has alcoholism and drug addiction problems and stuff, and I actually decided to write Evan a letter, and I said, look man, you got a lot of people that look up to you, like 37,000 fans on his MySpace, and I said, I'm at college right now, I'll have as a camera in my time, but I'd like to make a film about you sobering back up and getting back into the UFC. So he wrote me back and said that he was really up for the idea and it sounds something really positive. And then that very week, my uncle died back in Scotland. So I flew back to Scotland and made a film about my uncle's life. So fast forward 9 months later, I'm back in the US, and Evan's sober and he's training and fighting, and that kind of window of opportunity got missed, and I just kind of watched his fights. And when he passed away, I was like, I just was gutted. I felt really upset, and I didn't understand why, because I don't usually care when celebrities pass away, there's no connection, but with Evan I felt like maybe because I talked to him, maybe because he was so open in his blogs that I should do something about it, and I decided I wanted to make a film about his life. So from that point, I just started picking up the phone and calling everybody that I possibly knew in MMA, that knew somebody that knew Evan, and just started steamrolling from there.
You've interviewed some big names in the industry, such as Rich Franklin, Victor John McCarthy, and Forrest Griffin, just to name just a few. How many interviews have you actually done to date?
I've done 47 interviews, from big names like those guys in Chael Sonnen and just Randy Couture and Bas Rutten and everybody, Guy Metzger, to just neighbours, people that have no idea what even MMA is, ex-girlfriends, ex-fiancé, like just people. So it's not just an MMA film, it's a story about this man, basically.
How many more interviews do you actually have to do before you're finished?
I've been saying I'm finished about 10 times probably. My last 10 interviews I was like, I'm done, I don't need any more, I've got 150 hours of footage, but somebody always keeps like coming out of the woodwork and saying, okay, now I want to be involved, because when I first started this, nobody wanted to be involved. Everybody was like, it's too soon, I don't want to talk about Evan, and then one person did it and another person, just started steamrolling, and now that people have seen some of the clips I've released, more people want to be involved, and I finally said to myself, I'm done doing interviews unless I get Dana White. So Dana White's the next interview that I want to do. But other than that, I think I've interviewed most of the people that were close to Evan throughout his life.
Tanner revealed in his blog on August 16th that the area he was going to was so remote that if any equipment failed, then it could prove to be fatal. What do you actually think on that?
Evan was an extremist. He did crazy adventures throughout his whole life. It wasn't like the first time that he did something like that. He pushed himself to the limit on several occasions. The film talks about that. I mean, that's probably part of the reason why he was in MMA, part of the reason why he did so many of the things that he did. An example is one time he went to the Grand Canyon and there was a sign that says, don't attempt to do this trail and come back in one day without a blah amount of water, and he just had one little bottle and said, I'm going to do it, and he went and did it, and he almost died, but he did it, and there's so many stories like that throughout the film that kind of touch on that. So to Evan, it was just another adventure that he was going on, I believe.
It was suspected that it was heat exposure that killed Evan. What are your thoughts and feelings on this, and the people that you've actually interviewed so far?
Well, a lot of that's going to be discussed in the film, because Evan kind of drifted from town to town, place to place, and never really stayed anywhere for more than 6 months at a time. So there's a lot of people that saw Evan maybe in a bad stage of his life, and then they lost contact with him, and then so they think one way, it happened one way, and other people think it happened another way, and I've kind of got the whole picture, including talking to the people who were the last people to talk to Evan alive. So that's also part of the subject of the film that we're really going to kind of delve into.
Excellent. At the moment, currently, you're over here in Thailand at Tiger. What brought you over here, and how long are you planning on staying?
Well, I was interviewing Phil Baroni, who is one of Evan's probably most famous fights, him and Baroni 1 and 2, and Phil's like one of the nicest guys I've met. He comes across as a huge, larger-than-life persona, and I really didn't know what to expect. And it was one of the guys that got back to me the quickest. I mean, a lot of these people, it takes like 6 phone calls, 20 emails, and but Phil got back to me right away. And it's a tough thing to talk about because he's lost to Evan twice, and he was wanting to sit down and talk about Evan and the relationship that they had after their fights and stuff, and it was really cool. So Phil actually, sitting in his house, he was a little overweight and kind of feeling like he needed to get back in shape, and he said to me, "Hey, I'm thinking about going to Thailand. Do you think that would be good for me?" And I'm a big fan of the sport. I've seen all Phil's fights. I was like, "I think that'd be great." I was like, "I've always wanted to go to Thailand too." And he's like, "Well, why don't you head out here?" And I was like, So, and it's a good thing. Like, I just finished shooting the film. It's done unless I get Dana White, and we have one more trip to Clap Springs, which is where Evan passed away. When I get back, we're gonna go there and camp out and film some B-roll, but. In between shooting the film and editing, you really want to have a break so that you have time to clear your head. I mean, I've been on the road. When did you say I started shooting?
August 2009.
Yeah, so that's like a long time ago.
Yeah.
I can't even count. But basically, my life has been Evan Tanner for the past 9 months or something. It's like I wake up and I either read Evan's blogs, I watch fights of Evan's, I talk to somebody that knew Evan, I interview, I watch the footage that I've interviewed. It's like I go to the places that Evan went, and it's a really weird experience. I've never done this before. I did it for my uncle, but it was different because it was my family.
Yeah.
But with Evan, it's like I feel like I really know the guy, and I've been following his life so much, and I'm so close to it that I want to separate myself from it before I start editing.
Yeah.
And to go further into that is some of Evan's best friends are now some of my best friends. Like one of his friends, Ian Daw from Canada, he's a fighter, is coming down to stay with me in California now. And we just built these friendships. But as a filmmaker, you need to step away from that and look at things kind of objectively, and just basically what I'm here to do. Take a break for a couple of weeks.
Have you had time to do any of the training?
I have, yeah. I've taken both the beginner and the intermediate Muay Thai classes. I've taken a private or two with Samat and Yod, and that was incredible. And I trained with Phil a few times, and I trained with my friend who's actually out here with me as well. So I got some training in. Mostly the first week was spent training, and then the second week has just been me going crazy trying to check the place out, go to all the temples and elephant rides and PP Island.
How much longer are you going to be here for, and where are you planning on going next?
I'll leave tomorrow, actually. So I'll leave tomorrow, go to Singapore in 12 hours, and then I go straight back home and a couple of days to adjust, and then I'm just jumping right back into editing. Next weekend, I'll probably do the Clap Springs trip. I'm going to spend the next 2 weeks trying to get in touch with Dana White, and if that doesn't work out, then I'll just start editing and take it from there, basically. It's going to take probably about 3 months to get an edit done, like a rough cut, and then some tweaks, get a color corrections done next. So I think about 4 months, and then we should be finished.
Excellent. It's been really interesting talking to you and interviewing you. Is there anything you'd like to mention as we wrap up?
No, I just think everybody should, if they get a chance, come out here and check out Tiger. It's great. Ray Albies treated me so well. Just bent over backwards for me. Actually, when Phil told him that I wanted to come out here and take a break, he was like, "Yeah, come ahead, come on over, shoot some footage." And so I want to do a little promo video for the guys here at Tiger, because everybody's been great, Will and Ray, and it's just been an amazing experience. And it's definitely the vacation that I kind of needed before I go back and get it done. So training is awesome, and the weather's hot. I actually ran out of shorts, which is why I'm wearing tracksuit bottoms. But food's good, everything's good, so come out and check it out.
Excellent. Thank you very much.